Hello.
Hi, how are you, sweetheart?
Good.
Are we
So,
going to introduce ourselves this time?
yes. So, this is the first episode of a podcast called Grim Geography.
Uh huh.
My name is Peyton.
My name is Verity. Peyton is my daughter. And
Yes.
we are big, followers of crime, documentaries, everything. And we thought it would be interesting to start our own podcast,
Yes. We do actually have a second one called Rainy City Murders,
which is kind of the Northwest.
more specifically, Washington.
Yes. And we've actually, even though we're covering murders, we're covering different angles of the murders.
Hmm.
Instead of it just being about what was going on, we're covering things that went on in that case that are not well known.
Yes.
So,
And with this one, I can kind of take a little more liberty. I don't have to
yes.
focus on murders. I can focus on disappearances, but we can kind of assume that they're not alive.
Yeah, it's been a lot of years. I think it's 21 years this year in February.
Yes.
And her
But
family is still looking for her.
yes, but we'll get to that. But
Yes.
I can do disappearances. I can do arson. I can do rape. I can do espionage.
Yeah, we can do everything.
Masks.
There's a couple cases that I wanted to cover, but the next one will cover the second case that I was interested in. So this is the first one.
No, there's a line of cases that actually match this one that I
Yes.
want to do. I'm trying to do. I want to do an order.
Okay.
And we're actually not even starting in order. We're actually going out of order a little bit.
Yes.
So first one we want to talk about, which is a very well-known case,
Yes, because
is
it's had a lot of coverage.
because the circumstances and how weird it is.
Yes.
It is the disappearance of Maura Murray.
Yes. She was a 21-year-old nursing student, born and raised
Brockton,
in
Massachusetts. She
Massachusetts.
has an older brother, two older sisters, and a younger half brother. Her parents divorced when she was 6, and she primarily resided with her mom.
Yes. Now, they're not all living now. Uh, the Her mom and her sister Kathleen died from cancer. The older brother Freddie Jr. is no longer alive, but I really couldn't find anything about him.
Yeah, and I don't want to assume on that
Yeah,
one.
I don't want to assume that it was something sinister or anything like that. It could have been anything.
Hmm. And so, if you're not familiar with this case, Maura Murray disappeared on her during right after a car crash that she had
In
in what it's Woodsville.
Yes,
It's she got went into a curve
and hit
and
the snowbank.
hit the
And this is
snow.
New Hampshire.
Yes.
And she disappeared within 20 minutes of it.
Well, and she had a woman call in who heard it. They had a bus driver, a school bus driver, who had come through the area right after it happened
And
and
talked to
had
her.
talked to her. She had told them that she had already called for roadside, and the bus driver was confused because that area you don't get any cell service. The only way to call is from a residence.
Yes.
So he went home,
And called a second time to
called,
911.
yes,
And the cops were out there within like 20 minutes
yes,
and she was gone.
yes.
They brought a dog out and the dog lost her scent. So
We'll
they're assuming that she
we'll
got into a car.
we'll get into that when we go through the timeline.
Yeah, I mean, it was just very crazy.
So Maura Murray, she was a star athlete in high school.
Yes.
She get down, Ruby, get down, Ruby. And this is what I mean. I'm going to keep
Yeah.
this for bloopers to see how many times our dogs interrupt us. So she was actually on the high school track team. She actually originally studied chemical engineering for 3 semesters at the United States Military Academy in West Point.
Yeah. New York.
Mm-hmm. Oh, everyone kind of knows West Point. It's
Yeah.
kind of famous. After her freshman year, she transferred to the University of Massachusetts Amherst to pursue nursing.
Yes.
So prior to that, I was able to get the timeline leading up to her disappearance.
Okay.
So we'll go through that. So I have a thing where I don't always tell my mom the case. This is the one she gave me.
Yes. I don't know exactly everything about it,
I
but
went
I
in depth.
had I had watched a docu-series on it. And it was like a 6 episode docu-series. And they went through every scenario. And they even had an author there who had written a book on it. And they had different opinions that, she disappeared on purpose, that it was a kidnapping, that she,
A
is
lot.
somewhere along the
Well,
road.
some people they thought she had died in the
Yeah.
snows from after potentially sustaining a head injury in the accident.
Yes. But according to the bus driver,
She
the
was visibly fine.
she was physically fine.
She
Uh
was a little disoriented, but who wouldn't be after
yeah.
getting into an accident?
Yeah.
So November 2003.
Yes.
So we are 3 months before her disappearance. Okay.
Okay.
So she had ran into a little bit of legal trouble.
Yes.
She admitted that she used a stolen credit card to order food from local restaurants. The charge was continued in December and would be dismissed after 3 months of good behavior.
Yes.
So we are going to February 5th, 2004. Okay.
Yes.
While she was working her campus security job, she was on the phone with her older sister, Kathleen.
Yes. Now
Um,
Kathleen had a lot of issues.
they had been discussing problems with Kathleen's fiance. So apparently, her, this is all reported through like cameras and her supervisor. Maura apparently had broken down in tears around 10:30 p.m. Her supervisor arrived at her desk where Maura was quote unquote just completely zoned out, no reaction at all. She was unresponsive. Her supervisor escorted her back to her dorm room around 1:20 a.m.
Yes.
She would only say, Mara would only say my sister when she was asked what was wrong. The contents of that phone call was not made public until October 2017 when
Yes.
Kathleen was asked publicly, and she couldn't really deny it, like deny that there was a phone call. Do you know what the contents of the phone call were?
What?
Um, Apparently, the evening on February 5th, Kathleen had just been discharged from rehab, where she had been treated for alcoholism. And on the drive home, her fiance took her to a liquor store, which resulted in a relapse.
Oh my God! What a winner!
Mm-hmm. So, Fred, that is Mara's father, not the
Yes.
stepfather, this is her biological
Logical
father.
father.
He visited her on campus on February 7th. So, 2 days later, he is there on the 7th. He took her car shopping and went to dinner with a friend of his daughter. Mara dropped him off at his motel and returned to campus for a party, for a dorm party or Greek party. I can't remember which.
Yeah.
But it was for a party, and she was in his Toyota Corolla.
Yes. And
She,
she wrecked it, didn't she?
yes, she arrived at campus at 10:30. She left the party at 2:30 a.m., heading back towards her father's motel. Around 3:30 a.m., she struck a guardrail on Massachusetts Route 9, causing almost $10,000 in damages to his car.
And luckily, insurance covered it.
And 10,000 is a lot. back then,
Yes,
especially
that's
back then.
well. They said that would be 14,000 now.
Yeah, roughly about.
Yeah.
So, an officer did write a report, but did not appear to conduct any field sobriety test,
Yes.
which I'm also a little surprised about because she's near a college, and I lived and then lived in the town that housed the number 2 party school in the country.
Yeah. You did, but you Ubered everywhere.
Yeah, but police were out conducting field sobriety, especially in front of the bars, because I had a couple friends that ran across the street while they were drunk and
Yes.
almost get hit by the police. I have stories about that. But yeah, that also might just be unique to me because I was used to people getting field sobriety tests everywhere, like left and right. I never had to do it because yeah, as you said, I Ubered.
Yeah.
So the officer took her to her father's motel, where she was the rest of the morning, and a phone call was placed to her boyfriend from Fred's phone at 4:49 a.m. The content and participants of the call are still unknown. We don't know anything about that phone call.
Yeah.
We apologize if there's anything in the background. We have dogs.
We have 3 big dogs.
We are currently missing a dog,
Uh-oh.
the big one.
No, she's right behind you.
Okay, that's the scary one when the our really big one disappears. We're
We kind of worry.
Yeah. So later that morning, Fred rented a car and returned Maura to campus prior to departing for Connecticut. So at 10:30 p.m., he had called and reminded her to pick up accident forms from the Massachusetts Registry of Motor Vehicles. They made plans to talk on Monday to fill out the forms and insurance claim. So back then, you had to have. It wasn't the same thing with insurance as it is now.
Yeah, it's not where
You
you
can call
call
and give them the
they do
information
it, and
right there on the phone,
yeah,
literally at the accident.
yes,
Back
it's
then,
not
you
like
had to get the police report. You had to go get accident forms, which actually I didn't know that.
yeah.
Also, I mean, yeah,
Well, sweetheart, you're only 28. This
still,
was how many years ago? You were 7.
this is 2004.
Yeah, that was 11 years ago. No, 21 years ago.
Welcome to my life.
Yeah.
Um, okay, so that is leading up to her disappearance.
Yes.
So, cut to Monday, February 9th, 2004. Okay.
Okay.
So, shortly after midnight, Mara searched MapQuest for directions to the Berkshires and Burlington, Vermont. This is through her personal computer, which I guess some colleges back then would give loan students out computers if they needed it.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, I think I watched people at like Evergreen and stuff get computers if we needed it because I know we rented out cameras from the film and TV
Yes.
area. So she emailed her boyfriend at 1 p.m., which was the first contact with her that day.
Yes.
She told her boyfriend that she loved him, but she didn't feel like talking to anyone and would call him later. Are you getting down? That's fine. Are you behaving? Sorry, a large part I have to cut out anyways now
Yeah.
because of her. So she then made a phone call to a condo association in Bartlett, New Hampshire. It was a place that her family had been to on a previous vacation. The owner opted to not rent the condo to her after a roughly 3-minute phone call, and then at 1:13 p.m. It is believed Mark called a fellow. It was a fellow nursing student. I had to think about that for a second. I
Yeah.
don't think because her supervisor she emailed. A few months later, she sent her work supervisor of the nursing school facility an email that she would be out for the week due to a death in the family, which we now know,
Was untrue.
yeah, it wasn't the case. She reassured them that she would be in contact when she returned. Maura contacted a number at 2:05 p.m. that provides recorded information about booking hotels in Stowe, Vermont. At 2:18 p.m., Maura contacted her boyfriend and left him a voicemail that they would talk later. She packed her car full of clothing, toiletries, college books, and birth control pills.
Yes.
When they later searched her dorm, campus police discovered that her room was mostly packed, with boxes everywhere and art removed from the walls. It was not clear when Maura had packed, but the police at the time said she packed between Sunday night and Monday morning. And on top of the boxes, the police found a printed email to her boyfriend, that indicated trouble in their relationship. She left campus in her black 1996 Saturn sedan around 3:30 p.m. The college had actually canceled classes that day due to a snowstorm. And
Yes.
so this is why,
And they actually have an ATM photo of her going to the
yes, I
ATM
have that.
and taking
I
$280
have
and
that.
almost emptying her
hmm
account.
hmm But it's because her room was mostly packed is why a lot of people did thought that she was planning on disappearing,
Yes.
because it's less things her family has to deal with. But that also was a with that in the email, it also led police to believe that this she went to commit suicide,
Yes. That
which
was one
her
of the.
family never believed. And
No.
I don't either.
No. No.
I don't believe it either. So as you said, they have uh a closed circuit footage showed her alone withdrawing the $280 from the ATM. She had been alone. She was also alone at a nearby liquor store
Yes.
when she bought about $40 worth of alcohol. She did remember to pick up the report forms from the registry of motor vehicles. She did actually remember to get those. So
Which is
that's
kind of weird.
it's weird that she would pick that up if she didn't plan on coming back.
Yes.
So there's a lot of stuff on this that makes me.
And if I remember correctly, where they found her, she wasn't on the way to Vermont.
That was.
Was it?
Yeah.
I thought it was this way, and Vermont was that way.
No, she was going towards Vermont.
Okay.
She had the directions and everything printed out.
Okay.
So she left Amherst between 4 p.m. and 5 p.m. They presume via Interstate 91 north.
Okay.
The last recorded use of her phone was at 4:37 p.m. when she called to check her voicemail. To this day, there is no indication she had informed anyone of her destination, or any evidence that she had even chosen one. So they're assuming she went towards Vermont because of the route she took.
Okay. See, I thought that she went north and then went to the left, and Vermont is to the right. Okay. So I was misinformed. To see, it shows just how much people are misinformed about certain cases.
Yeah, no, well, because what I do is I get the clear cut and then I fact check everything.
Yeah.
I run it against multiple sites.
Yeah.
I'm a history researcher. That's what I did. I
Yeah.
was also criminal justice. So I like researching a lot. Okay. So cut to sometime after 7 p.m. A Woodsville resident heard a thump outside her home. From her window, she could see a car up against a snowbank on the sharp corner adjacent to her home.
Yeah. Facing the opposite
Yeah,
way.
the car was pointing west while in the eastbound lane. The accident was reported to the Grafton County Sheriff's Department at 7:27 p.m. According to the 911 log, the woman claimed to have seen a man smoking a cigarette inside the car. However, the resident later stated that she had not seen a man nor a person smoking a cigarette, but rather had seen what appeared to be a red light glowing from inside of the car, potentially from a cell phone. But also back then, wasn't a red light also an indicator of the cigarette lighter thing?
Yes, it was.
Sorry,
So
I
yeah,
have.
that's the one thing I always thought that she saw a man, But then I saw that she actually didn't see a
Yeah,
man.
she
She,
recanted she recanted. She corrected the police pretty quickly after the fact. It
yes.
wasn't like years later. It was like a couple days, I think, once it was made public.
So, yeah, so she did that. She called 911.
So reported it. So that's at 7:27 p.m. So keep
Yeah,
track of the
keep
time.
this all in
Keep track of the
time.
time. A passing motorist, he was a school bus driver who lived nearby, stopped. He saw the car, and a young woman who was walking around the car. She wasn't bleeding nor visibly injured, but she was cold and shivering. He offered to call for help, but she had declined and told him that she had already called AAA. And AAA has no records of any potential call from her or that area in general.
Nope. And there's no cell phone service there.
There was also and there was also a few different reports on what Mara had said to the bus driver. One claimed that Mara pleaded with him to not call the police.
That was the one I heard.
The bus driver did call the police when he got home because there was no cell reception in the area. The sheriff's department received that call at 7:43 p.m.
Yes.
He couldn't see her car directly. The bus driver couldn't see the car directly, but he could see any cars that passed by.
And he saw a couple cars
Yep.
pass by.
And then another local resident came upon the scene around 7:37 p.m. So literally, this is in the span of like 15 minutes.
Yes.
Um, she noticed a police SUV parked face to face with Mara's car. She briefly pulled over but did not see anyone in the area and proceeded home. Which is a little interesting because the statement actually contradicts the official police log,
Yes.
which puts the police there 9 minutes later.
Yes.
So,
Yes. And there's a witness that
yes.
puts Mara out on the highway walking
Yes.
and describes her exactly with what she was wearing.
So, you're at 7:46 p.m. now.
Yes.
Um, Haver Hill, and I'm so sorry if I mispronounced that. I think it's called Haver Hill, Haverhill. Haver Hill.
Sounds good.
Police officer arrived at the scene at 7:46 p.m. And that's according to the official log. So this is what I'm going off of.
Yes.
So I'm giving you the timeline based off of what we know. And also I'm adding in where I found the contradictions.
Okay.
So the woman driver had disappeared. So so they last reported sighting of her was um about a little before 7:43.
Uh-huh.
So no one was inside or around the car. The car was locked and had sustained significant damage. The car had impacted a tree on the driver's side of the vehicle, severely damaging the left headlight and pushing the car's radiator into the fan, rendering it inoperable.
Yes.
The car's windshield was cracked on the driver's side, and both airbags had deployed. So police noted red stains inside and outside of the car. The police officer believed it to be red wine from the liquor store, from the amount of alcohol from the liquor store.
Yes.
They don't believe it was blood. They believe it was red wine. And I think they later tested it and it showed it was wine.
Yes.
He found an empty beer bottle, a damaged box of Franzia wine on the rear seat, a AAA card issued to Mara, blank accident report forms, gloves, compact disc, makeup, and diamond jewelry. Driving directions to Burlington, Vermont. Mara's favorite stuffed animal, and a book called Not Without Peril. And that book is about mountain climbing in the White Mountains. Several things were missing.
Yes.
And have never been used or located since her disappearance. This included her cell phone, debit and credit cards. And later, police reported that some of the bottles of liquor were also missing.
Yes, they did. They said that some of the bottles, if you go back to what she purchased, there were some missing.
Mm-hmm. Well, yeah,
That's
because you
okay. Leave all your stuff and take the liquor with you.
and your credit cards
Yeah.
and your debit card.
And your phone, but you never use it again.
Uh huh. So police trace the car to Mara. So mind you, this car she had just bought.
Yes.
She had just bought this car. Um, and so they treated her at her disappearance as a missing person due to the belief that she may have wanted to disappear voluntarily. And so this speculation was based on her travel preparations, which she had told no one close to her about, and no obvious signs of foul play. And this is kind of where everyone has really criticized this case.
Yes. Because of,
Hmm.
maybe she just needed to get away for a week and, she's stressed out. She just wrecked her dad's car. She was under a lot of pressure at
Reportedly
nursing
having
school. She
relationship
had
problems.
relationship problems, you know.
So she disappeared 2004.
Yes. It
She,
is now 2025.
mhm. In 2009, so 5 years after this, New Hampshire's Cold Case Division took it over and finally marked it a suspicious missing persons case.
Yes.
So we're going back to 2004. Between 8 and 8:30 p.m., a contractor returning home reportedly saw a young person moving quickly on foot eastbound on Route 112 about 4 to 5 miles, which is 6 to 8 kilometers
Yes.
east of where Mara's car was discovered.
And it was described as
Uh-huh.
Mara. The jacket, the jeans, the
Yep.
coat, everything.
Dressed in jeans, dark coat, and light colored hood. He did not report this sighting right away. He had been confused about the dates, discovering it was 3 days later when he was retrieving his work records that he saw this person the night of Mara's disappearance.
Yes.
So, responding officer and the bus driver drove around the area looking for her. EMS and a fire truck arrived minutes before 8 p.m. to clear the scene. So, mind you, everyone's arriving. Everyone's arriving. She disappeared before 7:43. They say police arrived 7:47, but it turned out that it was like 9 minutes later than
Yeah.
that. So EMS and fire arrived, what, 2 minutes after they did to clear the scene.
Yes. So she disappeared in less than 15 minutes.
Uh huh.
I mean, I don't I don't know.
His bark's registering on our thing.
Is it?
Yeah.
Oh,
We also have a neighbor who has a German Shepherd. Very sweet pie. He's an old man. He just likes to talk. He has a lot to say. So 49 minutes later, saw the car towed to a local garage. A responding officer wow. The responding officer left the scene at 9:30 p.m. A rag believed to have been part of Mara's emergency roadside kit was discovered stuffed into the Saturn's muffler pipe.
yes. Which I thought that was kind of weird.
Mhm. So at noon the next day, almost 24 hours after the last confirmed sighting of her, authorities marked Mara simply as missing.
Yes. So she was missing. I mean, there was no foul play. They didn't know if she walked away. They didn't know if she got in somebody else's car. They had no idea what had
Because she could have
happened.
been disoriented. And that's like the big thing is that even though she wasn't visibly injured, she could have been disoriented.
Yeah, she could have a concussion,
Hmm.
hitting airbags. And
Okay.
I don't know how fast she was going around that corner.
Well, to have both airbags deployed but have no blood, back then airbags were more sensitive than what they are now.
Yes.
Which, yeah,
Well, her
sure.
windshield was cracked too, which, that's kind of interesting. But that could have been from the tree at the impact.
Hmm. So, okay. So we're going February to June 2004. This is the new timeline, okay?
Okay.
So February 10th, 12:36 p.m., a be on the lookout report for Maura was issued. So this is noon the next day. This is afternoon the next day.
Yes.
She was reported to be wearing a dark coat, jeans, and a black backpack. A voicemail had been left on Fred's answering machine at 3:20 p.m. It was letting him know that her car was found abandoned. He did not receive this because he was out of town for work in Connecticut. One of Mara's sisters, they believe it was Kathleen. It might
Yes.
have been, I don't 100% know.
Yeah. Now, the reason we don't know the other children is also to protect them. Kathleen was a part of this story, and Jr. had died, and we don't know why. So we don't really mention the other ones.
Um, so this is 5 p.m. the next day. He finally heard from Mara's sister and was told what was going on. He immediately contacted Haverhill police, where they told him that if Mara was not reported safe by the following morning, so on February 11th, the New Hampshire Fish and Game Department would start a search. Harvell police finally referred to Mara missing at 5:17 p.m.
It's
on the
crazy.
10th. So Fred arrived, so her dad arrived in Haverhill on February 11th. At 8 a.m., Mara's family, Fish and Game, and other volunteers and police, and I believe some state,
Yeah. Now you got to remember this is February and it's been snowing.
mm-hmm, began the search. A tracking dog did track the scent of one of Mara's gloves 100 yards east from where her car was located, but lost the scent.
So
Uh,
that's where they assume she got into a car.
yes, police believe that, yeah, her boyfriend and his parents arrived at 5 p.m. He was pulled aside for police to question him, then his parents joined for more questions. At 7 p.m., police believe Mara came to the area either to run away or attempt suicide. Her family did not agree with that theory.
No, I don't believe
But
so.
at the
But
same time, you never want to believe that about your
yeah, you
child.
don't know.
You never want to believe that about your child.
No, you don't.
So, Mara's boyfriend turned his cell phone off during his flight to Haverhill. At some point, he received a voicemail that he believed was the sound of Mara sobbing. They traced the call to a calling card that the American Red Cross had issued.
Yes.
So, first press coverage was published on the 12th, when Mara's father and boyfriend held an evening press conference in Bethlehem, New Hampshire. I'm very bad at mispronouncing sometimes. I'm sorry. So the evening before. So okay. So it was published on the 13th because on the 12th is when they held the press conference.
Okay.
At 3:05 p.m., police reported her as might be headed to the Cammagus Highway area. They had her listed as endangered and possibly suicidal. The police report also stated that Mara was intoxicated at the crash site, although the bus driver said that she did not appear that way during their interaction.
Yes. So how would they know if
The missing alcohol.
well
Also, an accident, they might assume she was intoxicated if they find empty beer bottles.
they only found one and her box could have been damaged in the
Police have to assume stuff.
yeah.
Um, Haverhill Police Chief told the public that our concern is that she's upset or suicidal. That was their main concern. So CNN's American Morning interviewed her father and boyfriend a week after she disappeared.
Okay.
Her families were the ones to expand the search into Vermont and were not thrilled. And so both her family and the authorities in Vermont were pissed, beyond pissed, that um Haverhill had not alerted them that day.
Oh, yeah. So they didn't even know they should be
They
looking.
didn't know until a week later that Vermont State Police should have been looking for her.
Yeah.
Um, which does make
Was she
sense.
failing in the nursing school?
That's not clear. I don't think so.
Yeah, because I could see if she was having, you know, relationship problems, her sister, and failing at nursing school, that being a lot. But
I
I
mean,
mean, just having problems with your boyfriend. But her sister and her were really close, Kathleen. I know that. So it must have been very hard on her.
well,
So,
and it does. I really do hate to say it. Um, if I was the police officer with Haverhill and I believed she was suicidal, I wouldn't alert the state next to us because of that. Because I would assume she died nearby.
yes.
And I would likely think that.
Now, are we going to go over the bones they found?
Yes.
Okay.
So, although missing person cases are normally handled by local and state police,
Yes.
it is very rare for the FBI to join. Um, the police usually have to make that call themselves because we saw that with what just happened with currently what's happening with Travis Decker.
Yes.
So the FBI joined the investigation just 10 days after she disappeared, and they joined on their own recognizance.
Mhm.
FBI interviewed relatives from Massachusetts, while Haverhill Police Chief announced the search to be nationwide. So we are a week and a half outside of her disappearance, and they finally make it a nationwide alert. So, New Hampshire Fish and Game conducted a second ground and air search using a helicopter with a thermal imaging camera, tracking dogs and cadaver dogs. And so, if you don't know what a cadaver dog is, they are used to find dead bodies because they
Yes.
can smell it, and cadavers do not smell pleasant. I mm, I've been around too many. They smell awful. Um, that happened the same day the FBI joined the investigation. So, Maura's older sister
Mm.
discovered a ripped white pair of women's underwear laying in the snow on a secluded trail near French Pond Road on February 26th, but DNA tests showed that they weren't Maura's.
Yes.
So, at the end of February, her family was finally given the stuff from her car. All of her personal belongings, everything that was in this car was finally given back to them at the end of the month. Which they don't
I
they do
but
if they believe that they're not going to find her.
yeah, but I would think that you should keep it to I mean, there might actually be stuff on it. There might
But
be
but if they thought she was suicidal,
yes.
why would
So they
you
had already made up their minds.
essentially they had already made up their mind. So her family checked out of their motel on March 2nd, beyond exhausted from the searching and
Yeah.
everything. But her dad returned every weekend to keep searching, which
I could never give up on my child.
mhm. So in April, police told him that they received notices and complaints about him trespassing. This case is also on my list of cases that we're going to cover. Uh, this little tie-in is dedicated to another case we're going to cover.
Okay.
Disappearance cases always interest me, especially when they vanish randomly.
Yes.
So March 2004. So you had the disappearance of Brianna Maitland in Montgomery, Vermont, which is 66 miles, 110 kilometers away from Maura's last sighting in Woodsville. This drew comparisons from media and law enforcement due to the similarities in disappearances. State police were quick to dismiss that, saying that there was no links between the cases. So, what people do not know that was never really made public is that at the time of this, there was a serial killer in Vermont in that area.
Hmm.
That was never really made public unless you were looking at other cases.
Okay.
Yeah. So, we have like three other cases outside of Mara about people who randomly disappeared after car accidents. I have a couple cases for you.
That's interesting.
Mm-hmm. And they're all pretty close together, except for like Phoenix. She was more recent.
Oh,
But
Phoenix is very interesting.
we'll definitely do that one, I promise.
Yeah.
So, in April and again in June, New Hampshire and Vermont police once again dismissed the possibility of a connection. In a press release, they stated they believe that Mara was headed for an unknown destination and may have accepted a ride in order to continue to that location, which I actually don't believe.
I don't know. I mean, wouldn't you rather get into the school bus driver's car who lives right down the street, that, sweet old man?
Hmm.
Or would you get into a car with, you know,
I'm sorry, I've seen too many horror movies. I've watched The Hitcher.
yeah,
I've watched The Hitcher too many times.
yeah.
So they added that they had discovered no evidence that linked him to a crime, and that they also dismissed the possibility of a serial killer being involved.
Uh,
But as we all know, serial killers can kind of get away with a lot.
yeah.
So we are now July 2004 to December 2005. Ruby. So you have July 1st. The police requested the items back from her car. The police asked the family for the items back from the car because they wanted to send it for forensic analysis. So I don't know what finally convinced them that maybe this wasn't just her being suicidal.
Oh, how many stories have we heard that they give the car back, or they let the families pick it up on the side of the road because they don't think anybody's involved?
Yep, and it comes.
It comes back to bite them.
I mean, have you been watching? Did you see what just happened yesterday
Yeah.
in Hollywood?
No.
Okay, so yesterday, sorry, tangent. Um, so that would be September 10th. Um, the police went to an impound lot in Los Angeles and found a decomposing body in the trunk of a Tesla that belonged to a famous musician.
Oh my God.
Oh yeah,
Only in LA.
I'm following that one because that's very interesting. Okay, so they got the items back, and then they started their fourth search around the crash site on July 13th. This is the first search that was done once the snow had melted.
Yeah.
So this was a 1 mile radius conducted by nearly 100 searchers, including state troopers, rescue personnel, and volunteers. So this is without the first snow on the ground. The backpack that Mara left the crash site with was one of their highest priorities to find
Yeah.
because they believe if they found that, they would have a better idea of what happened. Police reported nothing conclusive came from this search. So, do you know about the man and the rusty knife?
No.
Okay. So, a man, a man allegedly gave Maura's father a rusty, stained knife that belonged to the man's brother, who had a criminal past and lived less than a mile from where her car was discovered. This was in late 2004. And so keep this case and keep this person in mind because this does come back into play later on. So the man claimed that his brother and the brother's girlfriend had acted strangely after Maura's disappearance, and the man believed that the knife had been used to kill Maura. Several days after the knife was turned over, the brother allegedly scraped his Volvo. Family members of the man who turned in the knife explained he had made up the story for the reward money due to his history of drug use.
Wait till we get to the reward money.
This man comes back in later on.
God.
So you're now in 2005. Fred petitioned New Hampshire's Governor Craig Benson for help in the search and appeared on the Montel Williams show in November 2004 to publicize the case. On the first anniversary of her disappearance, they held a service at the crash site. There, Fred met briefly with New Hampshire's new governor, John Lynch.
Okay.
So, in late 2005, you had Fred filed suit against several law enforcement agencies. Not for money, not for what they've done in the thing. He wanted the files on the case. So, what we learned is that the police were not telling the family anything, even though that they claimed that they were in constant contact with the family. They were actually not telling them anything.
Hmm.
On November 1st, 2005, a user named Tom Davis logged into a message board called Not Without Peril, which was dedicated to Mara's disappearance. It was the book that they had found in her car. The user claimed to have seen a black backpack that closely resembled Mara's behind a restroom at an overlook. I'm not going to even try to pronounce that name. It is Pemigewasset. I'm not going to try. If you can tell me how to pronounce it, guys, that would be fantastic. So it was around 30 miles, so 48 kilometers
Yeah.
east of Woodsville on Route 112. So the senior assistant attorney general, Jeffrey Strelzin, stated that law enforcement was aware of the backpack, but did not disclose whether it had been taken for forensic testing.
Okay.
So we're on the next wave of searches. So this is 2006 through 2010.
Okay.
New Hampshire League of Investigators, which is 10 retired police officers and detectives, and the Molly Bish Foundation, started working on the case in 2006.
Okay.
Tom Shamshak. Shamshak?
I think
Yeah.
that's
A former police chief and a member of the Licensed Private Detectives Association of Massachusetts, that is a mouthful,
it is.
said, "It appears that this is something beyond a mere missing persons case. Something ominous could have happened here." In 2007, the Arkansas group Let's Bring Them Home offered a $75,000 reward for information that could solve Mara's disappearance.
Yes. And then they okay. I'll let her let me tell you. This one woman got blamed, and then she said it was a board decision, but nobody believes it.
actually, go ahead. Apparently, I did not mark that down.
Well, the $75,000 for the thing for the reward was rescinded. Um, a woman, the woman that was in charge, got the blame, and then she said no, it was a board decision, but they couldn't prove it. So they all blame this particular woman. I don't know her name. I didn't write it down. So, but um, it was kind of an interesting thing because um, why would they rescind the reward? Um, I don't know. Hi, have you talked to Jenna? She just sent me a text telling me that she's going to give us the $5,000 for you to go get the weight loss surgery. I know. I was in the bathroom. I think that that's the one that wouldn't print. That they said it's your guardian's due. Okay, let me see if I can figure it out because I had one, but it wouldn't print. Yeah, I understand. Well, I can give you money. Oh, okay. I will give you some money. I only have a few $100s, but I have grocery money. Okay, well, we'll work it out. So, what do you want me to tell Jenna? Well, she wants you to go have the weight loss surgery. Well, we'll talk about it later. Okay. Yeah. Yes. Okay. Yeah, that's up to you. And we need to talk to your cardiologist. Okay. I just came over. I just came out of the bathroom and my phone, and I was just like, "What?" Yeah. Okay, I will text her. I know, so I don't know what that meant. Yeah, I will. So my stomach is bothering me. I'm about to go back into the bathroom. Okay, I love you. Okay, bye. Oh, and I'm gonna turn the dishwasher off. We're under attack. More information on that lady.
What's her name? LaDonna.
It's something like that.
Okay. So what I'm finding out. So apparently, someone else from the organization went on a podcast to discuss what happened.
Okay.
So this is all like kind of hearsay. It's debatable what happened with
Yes.
the money. So it is. They say the reward was offered and the family agreed to it. The person says it was to be offered for a fixed time after signing the agreement with Let's Bring Them Home. The Murray family had a lawyer look into the situation because they were nervous about not receiving proof that the reward money existed in a bank account. The lawyer confirmed that the Murray family could be held liable if someone claimed the reward and the funds didn't exist. The person said the reward term expired and the family was relieved, and that was the last they heard of it until 10 years later. That's when LaDonna went public with allegations that Fred was too controlling. The evidence was apparently an email in which Fred asked in a curt and abrupt way that all tits go to the family first. In this episode, Julie and the host float the idea that the email was doctored to add the statement supposedly from Fred. The idea that the reward was backed by an insurance policy, which was apparently legal back then but isn't now, is a new claim, as is the claim that the reward term didn't just naturally come to a close, but that the let's begin them bring them home board voted to rescind the reward.
Well, what I read was that it was rescinded, and there was one woman in charge, and she's the one who rescinded it. But when she was called out on it, she said it was a board decision.
Yeah. No, so that it came from someone else apparently on the board on an episode called on a podcast called Pretend, where they did a series on LaDonna Humphrey, who is in charge of Let's Bring Them Home.
Okay. So that's what happened.
Yep.
So this is what we're talking about, that we cover things that may not be mainstream. Uh, you know, somebody can offer a reward and rescind it.
Mm-hmm.
So, and that the family may be liable for it.
Which I've never heard of that one before.
I've never heard of that.
I've never heard of that, but I don't know enough.
Yeah, I mean, like if the FBI, uh, offers a reward, does that mean that the family is liable if they don't pay it?
Yeah. So
that's something we should definitely look into.
Yeah, I don't. In all of my law classes I've taken, I've never heard of that before.
I've never heard, but I've never heard of somebody rescinding a reward.
Well, they claim that it naturally came to an expiration. That's some of the claims too. So yeah, there's a lot.
Well, I can understand Fred being controlling if he thought he was on the hook for it for $75,000.
And if he didn't trust her.
Yeah, I can kind of understand.
So, cut to October 2006. Volunteers led a 2-day search within a few miles where her car was found. So, in the closet, in the closet of an AIM-framed house, approximately 1 mile, which is 1.6 kilometers from the crash site, allegedly, cadaver dogs went bonkers, possibly identifying the presence of human remains. Remember that knife in 2004 that I told you about?
Yes.
This house had formerly been the residence of the man that was implicated by his brother who gave Fred the rusty knife. A sample of carpet from the house was sent to the New Hampshire State Police, but the results were not released to the public. In July 2008, volunteers led another 2-day search through the wooded area in Haverhill. The group consisted of dog teams and licensed private investigators. I mean,
wow is all I can say.
I mean, we have actually seen that happen. Wasn't it Elizabeth Smart? Casey Class? That they found years later. It was someone who was suspected of her.
Yeah.
And they had a hit, and then they went back and researched. I cannot remember. It was a couple years ago.
Yeah.
But it was from a case from 1980.
Yeah.
Or was that Pamela Smart? I have to look into that because it's happened in the past.
Yes.
So Maura's case was one of many cited by proponents of a statewide cold case unit for New Hampshire.
Yes, it was.
And that's in 2009. Her case would be added to the division upon establishment. In 2010, Fred publicly criticized the police investigation for treating the disappearance as a missing persons case and not a criminal matter. But, and the delay of the FBI joining the investigation, which I understand because if they're not suspected of foul play, they're not going to treat it as a criminal matter because they don't think she disappeared.
Yeah, and he's criticizing the FBI joining it.
How late they joined.
It was 10 days. Usually, she's an adult and she went missing, and I understand that. But had that been a 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 year old, they would have been there right away.
Mm-hmm. So, the senior assistant attorney general Jeffrey Strausen
Yeah.
said in February 2009 that the investigation was still active, saying, "We don't know if Maura is a victim, but the state is treating it as a potential homicide. It may be a missing persons case, but it's being handled as a criminal investigation."
Okay.
So the question, though, is when did they change their tune?
Yeah, that's interesting. Now, what year was that?
2009.
So it had been 5 years.
Mm-hmm. I mean, you have to remember, like, the year after they had requested back all of her stuff from the car.
Yeah.
So,
And she took her credit cards, her
and
debit
and
card,
her
and her
phone.
cell phone. But back then, I don't think they had GPS on phones like they do
No,
now.
I don't think so. So, cut to 2014, 10th anniversary. When Strausen confirmed that we haven't had any credible sightings of Mara since the night she disappeared. The New York Daily News published an article on the anniversary that reported Fred believed his daughter was dead and had been abducted the night she disappeared.
Really? Is that what he truly thought?
Mm-hmm.
Well, it's hard to say what
Um,
I know they're still looking for her.
mm-hmm. So, February 9th, 2017, 13th anniversary, Strausen wrote an email to the Boston Globe saying it's still an open case with periods of activity and at times it goes dormant. There are no new updates to share at this time. So, February 2019, the 15th anniversary of Mara's disappearance, Fred reiterated his belief that his daughter was dead, as well as his suspicions about the nearby house that cadaver dogs responded to, stating, "That's my daughter, I do believe." In early April, excavations was done with within the basement of the house. Fred had previously wanted to search the property, but the owners did not cooperate. The previous owners did not cooperate.
Yeah.
They sold the house, and the new owners allowed multiple searches on the property. The excavation found absolutely nothing other than what appears to be a piece of pottery or old piping. So in early 2021, the tree at the site where Mara was last seen, which has been marked with a blue ribbon as a memorial, was cut down by the property owner. Shortly thereafter, a request from Mara's family to have a New Hampshire historical marker placed at the site, which had been submitted in late 2020, was turned down by the New Hampshire Division of Historical Resources. So, September 14th, 2021, New Hampshire State Police announced that bone fragments had been found on Loon Mountain in Lincoln, New Hampshire, approximately 25 miles, 40 kilometers east of the crash site. Mar had been to the mountain and had knowledge of the area. According to her sister, according to her sister, the bone fragments were described as pretty small, and it was expected to take at least 2 months to determine whether they belonged to Mara. In November, it was announced that the remains were not of Mara.
No, they weren't. I mean, it must have been hopeful, but it must have been sad when they realized it wasn't her. Because you don't know either way. I can't imagine what this family goes through. I mean, because you don't know.
No, you don't. There's a lot unknown.
Yeah.
So in January 2022, FBI issued a national alert in Mara's case and created a violent criminal apprehension profile, allowing multiple law enforcement agencies to share information regarding her case. In July 2022, law enforcement in New Hampshire initiated a search in the towns of Llandaff and Easton. And February 2024, on the 20th anniversary of her disappearance, New Hampshire officials released an age progression photo of Maura.
Hmm. That's interesting.
So, Maura's case, outside of how weird it is, holds actually some significance. Do you know what they are?
No.
So, her disappearance is cited as the first crime mystery of the social media age, and generated speculation from the media and the public, specifically on the internet and online forums and message boards.
I guess being 2004.
Well, you gotta remember, um, Facebook was like created in like what 2006,
Yeah.
2005 somewhere. So in 2005, active discussion of Mara's disappearances was documented on websleuths.com. And in 2007, Facebook and MySpace pages.
Oh my God. MySpace.
MySpace pages were created dedicated to helping find her. So as of where we are now, there has been no definite update in the 2024-2025 period
No.
regarding her disappearance, though her case remains an active investigation with new age progression photos released and increased media attention from the families. She has been missing 21
21
years.
years and a couple months.
Mm-hmm.
Actually, 21 and a half years.
Mm-hmm.
What a long time.
To not know anything.
No, do you think she's alive?
Um, I don't think she is.
I don't think she is either. I mean, that's a long time. I mean, she only had $280. She didn't take her stuff. She, you know, it was cold out there. And whose car did she get into? If she got into a car.
Well, and that's the question. Or did she end up at that house?
Yeah.
At that house, and she died there, and then they buried her.
Yeah.
There's a lot of possibilities.
Yeah, because they could have buried her anywhere.
I
Because if
mean,
they lived there, they knew that mountain area better than anybody.
yeah, and you know what they say.
Yeah.
You dig the grave 6 feet, put the body in, bury 4 feet, and then put a dead animal on top, and then bury
Yeah.
it the rest of the way. Because cadaver dogs will only pick up on that scent of a dead animal.
Yeah.
That is not advice.
No, it's not. No, it's not. So, do we have anything else to talk about, Mara?
No, 21 years.
21 years.
And it's encouraged. If anyone knows anything,
Please
give them
say, give them a call. You
give them
know,
closure. Give the family closure because
yeah.
they deserve it.
Woodsville, New Hampshire.
Haverhill.
Yeah, call them.
Yep.
So, I mean, Fred's still alive. He would like to know what happened to his daughter, I'm sure.
He would.
Even if it's bad news,
It's closure.
it's closure. It's not even closure, it's justice.
You can't really say justice until you find the person who did it. If there was
Yeah,
someone else
that's
involved.
true. That's true. I mean, that's a long time. I can't imagine. Literally, I can't imagine.
All right.
Okay. We're
Well,
done for this episode.
yep. And the next couple episodes are gonna have a similar theme.
Yes.
You don't get to know them.
Okay. Well, I know, well,
You know one of them.
I know one of
You
them.
don't get to know the other ones.
Well, you're going to have to because I don't like being unprepared.
I like it.
Okay. Okay.
Well, thank you.
Okay. Bye.
Bye.